Hi, I'm Pharaoh, and today I'm going to hunt some exotics just because every time I am playing, people say, "Oh, there's an exotic you just missed." So I thought I'd actually focus on that for a change. I've got a couple of exotics in the main save that I use. I've got this one. I haven't really developed any of them, and I'm not necessarily wedded to the ones I've got. But I've got this, I guess you'd call it a royal. I'm not, I mean, I always like the side thrusters. I quite like a bit of a nose. And I've got one over here. Which is, oh, hang on. I'm not actually showing you. Let's actually get rid of that image. I've got I've got the one that you can see here, which is just an ordinary, what I would call a tri-wing or a bi-wing, which is in the thumbnail. Try to make this appear a second and bring that on screen. So this is the one that's in the thumbnail. And the one I was trying to show was this one, which is the one I had previous to that. Which is more of a royal. Hi, Alpha. It's good to see you. Well, I mean, we'll try and make it cooperate. You just confirm that this isn't a super choppy stream, because it seemed to be getting all sorts of lag on the screen here. I'm not sure if it's streaming like that or if it's just my display. I'm going to start off in an area of Euclid so other people can kind of follow the route. And I'm going to start off here, which is Samadano XIII, which I believe was the starting planet for the 13th expedition. So cursed. And I'm not going to use this ship to actually hunt. I'm going to go back to my trusty Starborn runner. And theoretically, I should be at the point where the very next jump would be a... Actually, I should make sure I do a save here before we do anything. The very next jump should be the freighter battle, so I'm going to use the freighter battles. I mean, yeah, there's always that kind of sod's law attitude of when you actually want to try and find something, you never find it. But theoretically, yes, yes, Grabnot, we did say exotic. Theoretically, there shouldn't be any difficulty finding exotics. It's just that for a long while, every single freighter battle seemed to have one. And now it only seems to be every few. So let's start off. We'll start off at this place here, and I'm going to jump first of all to maybe the second. This would theoretically be the second point on that particular exotic path. So if you happen to do cursed, you would have this in your visited system lists already if you did it from the save you're using. So let's Let's just set that waypoint and we'll go there if we can. We should be able to jump there pretty quickly because in an expedition, these things are often relatively close to each other, but we don't have very good hyperdrives to start with, so it takes a while to jump. So let's go straight there. And first of all, we'll see if we get the freighter battle, because that's kind of the method we're going to use. Yes, we do. Excellent. And I'm mostly just going to keep an eye out. Now, generally, the original method of this was that if there were about 5 pirates, then there would be a defending exotic. And then for a long while, it seemed to work with just about any freighter battle. And then now it might be back to 5 pirates again. So we may be unlucky with our first jump because there are 10 hostile pirates here. But we'll just have a look for the green paths and see what we find. I've also manually backed up my save so that if we do actually think, oh, this one's worth looking at, we can investigate it and then refresh my save back to how it was before. Now, I'm not seeing one here. I'm not seeing an awful lot of defenders, to be honest. Game sound's not coming through. Seem to be showing on my screen. Let's have a quick look a second. I mean, when I'm talking, it should be dipping them right down. If I shut up for a second. Did you get game sounds then? Yeah, I've got it set that it dips the game sound dramatically while I'm talking. So it's a matter of a couple of people were saying they found it difficult to separate out the background noise, so I thought I'd be a little bit more aggressive on my dipping. So look, we're seeing yeah, that's a fighter, and we're seeing a hauler helping defend. Actually, they suddenly went red. Did I clip them, or are they not defenders? That's a defender. That's an exotic. Yeah, so this one doesn't look very promising because I'm not seeing any exotics flying around helping with my defense of the freighter. So let's reload. Let's see if the next one along would be reachable. I can raise the volume a little bit. See if we can get a better balance. All right, so now the custom waypoint's not showing, which suggests that it's not that close, but yeah, so maybe we won't bother with that. Maybe we'll just start branching out from this point to other economies. So basically we're looking, because you always get an exotic in any populated system, as long as we avoid the pirate systems, because that can be a bit of a an extra confusion, and you don't get defenders necessarily if you have the dreadnought battle, then we'll avoid those. Sometimes I think it's easier to engage at least one target just so that it kind of kicks it all off properly. I'm not 100% sure if that matters. So now we've got 8 defenders. Sorry, attackers. And I'm not seeing any defenders here. Is this going to be the curse that Alphys was suggesting? Are we just not going to see any? Let's kill one of them. I've recently upgraded my graphics, so it's kind of loading lots of new things into the cache. So there will be occasional stutters when new things, when new textures pop in. No, I'm not seeing any defenders at all now. Is it consistent that the exotic will always be part of the defenders, or is it a chance spawn? Now it seems to be a chance spawn. For a long while it was very consistent. It started off being, as I was saying, a very specific thing. When there are 5 defenders, then it was pretty much nailed on. Then it seemed to be everyone, every single one of them. And now it might be back to 5 again. And so we need to find a battle that has the right number of defenders and test that. Just when I certainly have been finding them using this method, but it is much more inconsistent than it had been for a while. And this method's been around for a long, long while, I mean, years now. And it has been kind of slightly inconsistent in how it works. I first read about it in a post on Reddit probably about 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It slowly got picked up by a few YouTube people and became a bit more widely known. And I always used to advocate doing it, and now I kind of suggest, well, you may not be lucky. So look, I'm on 8 defenders again. And I'm not seeing any... Sorry, 10 pirates. And I'm not seeing any defenders here. Let's see if we can provoke some by heading to some of these other ships and back. do quite like the Sentinel freighters. This is it a tier 2 or are there some without? I think it's tier 2. I can't remember off the top of my head. No, I'm not saying anything here either. Now my coffee's cold. What I may have to do is jump elsewhere in my freighter. Because it might make the decision about what is being met based on where you are. I have no idea. Or it could be that every place I go will be approximately the same on this particular iteration. I'm not sure. I have a feeling I might be able to change that by warping somewhere else. Now, we've got a defender here. And we've got 5 pirates, which is usually more promising. Used to be what we would look for. That exotic there? Yes, that's an exotic there. Looks very similar to the one I've got, actually. I think I may have taken a little bit too long to get to the camera there. Where is it? No, there it is. Yeah, so it got a little bit too far away while I was trying to get to the camera. I should have used my hotkey. Let's get a bit closer to it. There is it. If you defeat all of the pirates, then you can like click through the targets to find it more easily. But while the pirates are fighting, it's a little bit harder to spot. Is that it? Yes. Just turned away from me. But I think I should be able to get a shot of it here. Just want to be able to tell if it's gold or silver. It looks gold. There we go. It's a better picture. Trouble is, once you start getting these weird angles, it's difficult to control the camera. There we go. Yeah, that's not a bad one. I'm not particularly massive fan of the whites, but or the greys, because I think you can get a slightly lighter color than that. Personally, I prefer the golden, the silver rather than the gold. But that's quite nice, and it does look remarkably similar to the one I have in my hangar at the moment. But while we're here, now we've identified one, let's actually finish the battle off and demonstrate how you would go about getting it for those that don't know how this works. I want to shoot the hangar. Shoot, not the hangar, the freighter. I think I've got any rockets on this ship. Bad choice of ship. Maybe I just have to install some rockets. Not sure why though. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. They've just gone straight through the freighter then. Let's get away from the freighter. It's dangerous to go too far away because you can despawn the defenders if you're not careful. I think they usually come back if they do despawn. I think you can go further away and then come back again and respawn them. But if you've killed the last pirate, then that doesn't necessarily work. When they dip in and out of the shields that they get awkward. It's kind of a sweet spot, a little bit further away, but not too far away to despawn anything. Let them come to you. Right, so what I would now do is I would flick through the targets. As you can see, I've got it in my sights. Yeah, they're still there. Now, I could sometimes just land on the freighter and it would follow me. You can't be sure that it will do that, and you can lose it that way. And otherwise, if you just kind of follow it, it heads towards the space station. As you can see, it's heading towards the space station now. And then you can usually tell when it's going to land, when it suddenly does a burst of speed. Matching speeds in this game is really quite difficult sometimes. I guess that's not that unrealistic. Matching speeds with airplanes is always very tricky. This This has got a 7 on it, I believe. I wouldn't say they were rare, no. They're one of the decals you can get. I mean, rarity in No Man's Sky is one of those things. It's all about the combinations, isn't it? If you're looking for a royal exotic with a 7 on it, then it's going to feel rare because there are going to be lots that don't have those combinations. See, that should be now into its landing mode. And it will be zeroing in on the door. So I can now head in. And I'm not going to jump out and look at it because it's almost identical to the one I've got. And if I do, I'm going to create a save and I won't be able to carry on my search. But there it is, just landing, just swinging round on the pad. So yeah, that's a very, very similar one to the one I've already got, except it's got the gold rather than the silver trim, which, I mean, it makes it look more royal. In some colours, I think that works better than others. And you can see the glyphs there, but I can, if you're interested in picking this particular one up, then where's my glyph thing? And it is in Euclid, so those are the decals, the coordinates. I've got this time to go off, but it's taking a while to go off, so obviously I'm going to... Right, so I've flown back to where I was. And now we know it's viable to hunt for them this way without having to warp anywhere. And we'll try again. Go somewhere else. Because I didn't take a note of the name of the system. So, but I know it wasn't a gas giant purple, so we'll go there. Yeah, it's just saying 8. We'll keep an eye out just in case it is no longer consistent. But we're getting 2 defenders, which we've seen on the 8s. We've seen 2 defenders before, so maybe that's the pattern now. And on the 10, oh no, it's gone to 10. It's odd how it suddenly adds those 2 in. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything else here. A nice needle. Quite like that kind of ship. See if I can get a photo of it. Where is it? There it is. So obviously this would be in the roster. The pirate ships that are fighting won't be in the roster. So you won't be able to easily get them. But the normal ships will be. Let's finish this cold coffee. Yeah. Now, it doesn't seem as if it's directly consistent how many defenders per system. It's not like if we go back to that system again, we'll always get 5. But it doesn't look like you can easily change it. So if let's pick one particular place and try it a couple of times. So this is probably the nearest system. Hoku Bam John. If we go there, let's count the defenders, see what we've got there, and then we'll go here again and see if it's exactly the same. Might need to do that a couple of times to demonstrate it though. So we've got at least 8 pirates. When I have the advantage of having a reasonably good quality screen, so I can identify these things probably before you can on the stream, but they're definitely not what we're looking for here. So let's try that again. Go to exactly the same system and see if it changes. Although so far we've seen more 8s and 10s than anything else, so we might need to go 2 or 3 times just to demonstrate it. That's still 8. Actually crash into it then. What I want to be very careful of not doing is going anywhere near that doorway to the hangar, because it will despawn the battle. Yeah, it looks like different defenders this time. It does make me wonder, if you kept coming back here, could you get lucky just by looking at different defenders? But it's clearly not done it this time, so let's try one more time. Because the one of the things you used to see, people would post, say on the coordinate exchanges or on Reddit, people would post, "Oh, I just seen this exotic in this system," and people would say, "How on earth do I get it?" And the answer would always be, "Well, just hang around at a trade post." But this method would be more consistent if you could guarantee at least occasionally getting the 5 defenders by the look of it. So it'd be nice to know if we can at least sometimes get 5 defenders. I do think Hello Games are missing a trick, that we can't opt to join the battle with the pirates and then have a different mini mission with different rewards. Right, that's gone to 10. I think all the 8s can theoretically go to 10 because if you notice, whenever we warp into these things, there's always 2 following us. I think it depends whether they get added to the roster or not. Yeah, I apologize for not doing the normal days. I usually will stream Mondays and Tuesdays and occasionally Wednesdays, but Fridays is, well, that's just the way it had to be this week. It's either that or not stream at all, so... I mean, I could use YouTube better and actually tell people when I'm going to be streaming by putting out community posts, but I'm just not a good streamer, am I? Let's try one more time. I'll change my name to Big Daddy T, and then you'll never find me again on YouTube. Looks like this. No, it's 2 different shuttles, look at it. But again, we've got 10 defenders. Doesn't look like I'm able to change. Ignition reckons he has a secret method. I wonder what that secret method is. Do you fancy making the secret method not so secret? There is another method I do use, which is just to fly around in systems and flying near the freighters that spawn in, flying towards the back of the freighter, and that will spawn in a number of ships on the roster. And there's a reasonable chance that you can get an exotic or any other type of ship from that system spawning, but it's less consistent, plus a lot harder to get them to land. But you could land on that freighter and they might land there. But that's not a very great or secret way of getting them, because that's not that different to just going to a trade post. Nope. Again, 10 defenders. We don't seem to be manipulating it in any way. Right, the other thing I could try testing. Yeah, that's what I should be doing. I should become a proper streamer that takes advantage of all of their supporters and has that weird kind of social thing where they're everybody's best friend and get them to do all of their stuff for them. You can go and find my ships for me, and then I'll just go and look at them. This means you don't know about No Man's Sky, and it's a serious question. Yes, obviously there's loads of things that I don't know about No Man's Sky. There are things I'm researching in No Man's Sky that I don't know the answer to. And that's why I'm researching it. But did I just expose your secret method? Yeah, it's a good way to find the exotic. Right, the next thing I can try and do, and this can work if you just wanted to skip to a different part of the galaxy, if something was slightly out of reach. Is to jump with your freighter instead of your ship. because it will not kick off the freighter battle, and then the freighter battle will be the next warp afterwards. So one thing I can try and do is change my starting position and see if that makes a difference. So we want to go back to there, so we can go here. That's a pirate system. It doesn't really matter where we go. I guessed it. I guess that might be the other reason. The other way, rather. And so now, if we warp from here, maybe it will change the number of defenders. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Something I don't know. That's why we're experimenting. So it's there, wasn't it? No, still the same. Still got 8, possibly 10. It's very close to the space station, this one. It's a pity that it doesn't have the right number of defenders, because it would be really easy to get it to land there. I'm going to try and go away from it a bit. Don't want to fully escape. Still showing the attackers. I can just... So I'm imagining the defenders haven't despawned either, but just in case. Nope. I think we'll give up on that idea that you can actually change this. And we'll just go to different systems until we find something that does conform to the number that we need. Go there. Gifurla, or however you'd pronounce that. It's 8, so it's not very promising. Be a lot of reloading. There does seem to be some trading posts that are more likely to spawn in exotics than other trading posts. I've just noticed it in my normal day-to-day play. So it would seem as if you're not having any luck at a trading post, then switching to a different one might help. But this, if you can get this method to work, and it seems like it's slightly less efficient than it used to be, or at least it was for a while. Oh no, this is the Dreadnought battle, so we won't get... I don't think we get any defenders here. Just double check. What's that ship doing there, just floating? Oh, I thought that was a ship. Did I see a ship there? Oh, I think it must have been this. Yeah, I think they're all pirates. Oh, there are some defenders. Okay, well, I'll just double check. This would be much harder, I think, to provoke them to land. I don't think I've ever noticed defenders at these particular battles before. I don't know if it's necessary to save and reload a lot. Waiting around, definitely. I think there may be certain spawn positions that dictate what you get. So, and this is just me completely speculating, but when you're on a trading post, ships seem to come in from particular directions, and there's a number of different places they can come in from, but it might be finite. They might just spawn in random locations around and thereby set their stats and their model, etc. But it's not really clear. It could just be very random, so it's difficult to be sure. Yeah, I've been in situations like that. There was one time when this freighter battle used to occasionally spawn in just if you were coming out of Pulse. And I remember making this freighter battle spawn just above my base, spotted the exotic I wanted, and it was exactly the model I'd been looking for a while. I followed it all the way from this place just outside the planet's atmosphere, all the way to the space station. And when I got to the space station, I just watched it turn around and head back again. And that had taken me at least 25 minutes to follow it. And that was the point at which I gave up, because it was never going to land. Right, we've got 5 pirates here. There we go. There's... Oh, no, that wasn't it. Thought it was... Is that it? Yes, that's it. It's yellow. So that's very consistent now. We've gone to 2 places where we finally got the 5 to spawn. And it came up both times. So it does seem to have gone back to the method that it was years ago. I find those a little bit unbalanced, but they're not bad. So again, if you really like the look of this one, then the glyphs are there. And the way you would want to do that, if you wanted to actually get it from the glyphs, it would be to wait until the battle is happening in your save, reload just before the battle, before you walked. So always make sure you're making saves up until that point. And then come to this position in the galaxy, use a freighter to jump away from this system and then walk back in and hope that you get 5 defenders like I did here. So that's that one. It'd be ironic if there was an exotic flying around, but there isn't. Now, of course, there will always be people that will post first wave exotics in space stations, and they're worth a look, but the first wave does sometimes get disrupted. So after an update, sometimes the first waves get messed up. But in that case, you would just go to that system and reload at the space station, see if it lands, wait around a little while and see if it lands. If it doesn't, maybe reload a couple of times just to be sure. But theoretically, a first wave exotic would land relatively quickly. Although it can take a while, especially with the newer system, with the new types of space stations. Right, so that's not looking promising, and we've got 10 pirates, so... Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the dorsal fins. I like the side boosters on a guppy. I wonder if there's some correlation and even mathematically between the combat level of the system and how many defenders you'll get. So we've got 5 here, so we should be lucky. And just for the record, this is a 1 conflict level. So keep an eye on that. Oh, where are you? You must be here. You've been here both the other times. There it is. No, it isn't. Fooled me. That looks like one, but I think it's an explorer. Yeah, it's an explorer. Just the way its arm is sticking out made it look a bit like a high fin. We're not. Doesn't look like we're lucky on this one. Let's go away a bit. It's gone to 6 pirates now. Maybe that's why we're not being lucky. Yes, ignition. It looks like you do need 5 defenders, which was the old pattern. That was when I first learned about this. Back when it was first posted about on Reddit. That was the rule, that you needed 5 defenders. But as I was saying before, you probably missed. For a while, it was just about any freighter battle. It didn't matter how many defenders. No, there's nothing here. I'm going to maybe try this system again. So let's remember the name. Tash-e-Haq. Just keep an eye on for that when I'm looking. So yeah, for a while it just seemed as if you could go anywhere and they would always be. It was as if they reprogrammed the defenders to always be a certain number of defenders, and it was working everywhere. But now it seems to be back to 5 again. Let's try another 1. So yeah, partly the reason I'm doing this today is because I'm interested to see if it really has gone back to 5. Just because I haven't thoroughly tested it since. we've got 8 here. And the likelihood is we will only see 2 defenders at most, if not none at all. It might change to 10. It's consequently a harder battle, theoretically at least. See, I'm not seeing any defense. Oh, there they are. Just as I say that. We're not seeing any others. So going to a 1 conflict didn't seem to help. It wasn't a 100% rule. It's a lot easier now that reloads are a bit quicker. We'd be spending nearly all of the time just watching reloads if it was the way it was before Worlds. Even warps are quicker, I think. They changed the way the file system worked. Okay, we've got 5 defenders. Sorry, 5 attackers. I keep saying defenders each time. We've got 5 pirates. And there's our exotic. That's the one with the clamshell. They're annoyingly maneuverable when you're trying to zoom in on them so you can take a better photograph. Where's it gone? There it is. It's caught in the brightness of the thing. Oh, there you go. I can see it better there. Another grey one. Another grey and gold one. Clamshell thruster. Another 7. Honeycomb decal. Quite like the honeycomb decal. And if you like the look of this one, then the glyphs are there. Let's try and move that off into a darker background. It's a bit better. Yeah, don't jinx it. It'd be nice to spot a squid today, but so far we've only found yellow and grey ships, I think. I don't mind yellow on one particular save. I think I've talked about this before. There's one save, a pirate save, that I kind of favour the colour yellow. But it's not one of my favourite colours for ships. I don't mind the greys, but I like a lighter one. I think you can get slightly lighter grey, almost white. And then that could just be how they're photographed, because I don't think I've ever owned one, so maybe I can't confirm that you really can. The best thing about squids is not so much their look, which I do quite like, but they've got so much more variety in terms of colour. And so you're more likely to find something that is less common or people haven't seen as often. But I don't think we've ever fully catalogued which colours are possible for squids, but I presume it must be using one of the basic palettes in the game. So this has got 10 defenders, 10 pirates. So I'm only seeing a couple of defenders. Let's get a bit quicker on the reload so we're not messing around searching too often. Now that it seems like the 5s are quite consistent. I don't know. I think alien multi-tools are pretty rare. I have an alien multi-tool that's an A class in the space station and is is a tier 3 economy. So at some point, I'm going to do a search for that, because that would be quite an interesting thing to do a stream with, just searching for the S class of an alien. But I can't remember for the life of me where I saw it, so I need to find it again. I'm pretty sure the chance of landing is exactly the same. I can't see why there would be any reason to suspect they would not land. And the 3 squids that I've got using this method, the freighter method, they've always landed. And so I don't think I can confirm that. They do seem to be rarer because they increased the variety of exotics, and they didn't increase the variety of squids. So theoretically, the roster changed. This was a long while ago, and so they weren't as rare, and then they became rarer because there were just more ships to go around to spread over the wider area. So they do seem to be rarer. You can think of a squid as just being one variation of the exotics, and there are lots of different variations of exotics, so it would be as rare as any other very specific exotic. Right, so this is 5 defenders, unless it changes at the last second. And there's the exotic. It's red. Where is it? I think it got too far away from where that... I was following the target it was going for. Lost it now. Where is it? There it is. Red and silver, looks like it. So that looks like a red version of the yellow one we saw earlier, I think. Can't remember exactly now, though. Maybe we'll jump to a different part of the galaxy at some point. As long as because we're in a particular region that people might know, i.e., for those that weren't here right at the beginning, I went back to the very first system of the Cursed Expedition. But if I go to the nearby black hole and go through that black hole to get to a different region of space, just to potentially rejig the variety, then it's possible to follow it. You could easily, if you had this particular region in your list, you could do the same thing. Anyway, so let's get the glyphs up for this one. So this was there. And it's a red V-wing with a nice looking nose. It was reasonably well balanced, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of that kind of ship, but it was a reasonably well balanced one because of the nose, I think. But it was very similar to that yellow one we saw. I think it's just a different variation of the colour. What I didn't check was what the other decal was. You probably saw it yourselves, but I'm going to quickly check again. If I can get close enough to it again. Where's it gone? There it is. Oh, it's got the kind of laurel decal. One of my favourite. Acanthus, is that what people call it? So, reload restore point. I'd have thought of that as more of a laurel, a bit like Caesar's crown. Let's jump a bit further. This is high conflict, but 1-star economy. And I don't think it means anything, but... Five. Just spawned in there. Part of the ship. No, it's gone to 6 now. But we'll keep checking just in case. But there don't seem to be as many defenders. But there is one there, so... But yellow? I've lost it now. There it is. It's orange. It's got a nice clamshell. I much prefer these kinds of ships. I feel like they're more balanced with the longer dorsal fin. That's upside down, really, isn't it? What was it? Losing my sense of direction here. So it's got a 7 and the double, what do you call that, a chevron? A little triangle on it. Yeah, that's a nice ship. I'm not completely sold on the colour, but it is quite a nice colour. I think with the gold it can get a bit garish, but it's got the silver, so it's not too bad. Yeah, it's a nice ship actually. So the glyphs for this one are there. Yeah, it's difficult to be sure because we tried a 1-star and didn't get 5 defenders. But the thing is, there could be it could be a waiting. You never know. Because, for instance, what would make us think that that was the waiting and not, say, for instance, the buy price or the sell price or the economy type? It could be anything. Also, it could be different in different regions because the seeds work by region first, and so each region might have a pattern that other regions don't have. So you might find a pattern in one area and then it won't be the same in other parts of space. So if we stay, for instance, stay in the Bungugu cloud for this one. So this is 1-star, one conflict, 2-star economy. Yeah, gun color. I mean, you have to be very fussy to worry about it, but yeah, they can be different. It's a pity that guns don't change based on what we put on the ship. So our choice of weapon. Well, this is 5 as well. It's changed to 6 now, but that didn't stop us last time when it changed to 6. So we'll keep an eye out still. Not seeing as many defenders here, though. Oh, there they are. They're all hidden behind the freighter. Doesn't look like it here. While I've got this many defenders, though, I'm going to despawn the thing and just see if all of the defenders also despawn. I think they do, but we'll find out. Yeah, they do. No defenders at all now. Yeah, we did a 1-star one earlier that was and one that wasn't, I think. It's difficult to see any patterns yet. I suspect because this is the type of thing you don't see in the game files, I suspect this will be seed based. But let's try a 1-and-1 again. Did you see one just in that last system? I certainly didn't see one. Because if I had, I would have photographed it. I think these are very unlikely to spawn one. I don't think you did see it, but we'll see. I mean, I've got a large curved, pretty good definition screen in front of me. I don't think I saw it, but I can always look back on the stream at some point. Yeah, I am considering jumping through a black hole, but in order to do that, I want to go back to let's do that now. Let's go back into my freighter. Going back in time. I don't think black holes and Atlas Station spawn, but what I want to do is I want to go back to the region that I kicked off the... Oh, I am there still. Yeah, okay, we're in the right region. So what I want to do is I want to go to the black hole in this region so other people can then follow me if necessary, if they wanted to follow this. Because I've started in a very specific system that might be in people's discovery lists. If we go to the discovery list, if you have done the cursed expedition on your save, like you've continued the cursed expedition or you did it from the terminal, then you will find Samadano rather, XIII, because that was the beginning of the cursed expedition. And so if you wanted to follow my footsteps through a black hole, then what we're going to do is try and stay within this same region. The region, as you can see underneath the name, is Bungugu Cloud. And there should be a black hole in this region. Let's see if it's that one. Nope. There's one per region. So it's probably this one here. That's a bit closer. Yeah. That's the Bungugu Cloud. So it's Azudam 5. So we go there. I'm not sure about. I mean, there do seem to be a big variety of staffs. I'm not sure if I've seen purple. I usually look out for blue. I'm not sure if I've seen purple. So wherever we end up now, it will be... Now, one of the problems we have with going through a black hole is that it might immediately spawn the battle as we emerge from the black hole. I can't remember if it does or not. But if it does, then we're kind of stuck a bit. But what we could theoretically do is take a note of the glyphs and then go there that way. You'll probably find, because this is in a region of space where the expedition was, that even going through the black hole will be a discovered system because other people will have done it. And the destination of a black hole is set. It's always going to be the same. Although during the expedition itself, it probably would have been back to that first system. But after the expedition, it would be here. And unfortunately, it does spawn the battle. And it's not an 8. I mean, it's not a 5, it's an 8. I might have to get the glyphs and come here directly. Obviously, the reason the battle is spawned is because we were at that point where the battle should spawn, i.e. we've done enough. We've done 5 warps and 3 hours of play and walked around on a planet. There's nothing here, so let's get the glyphs. Jot those down. So that's using hexadecimal and ignoring the newer hexadecimal version because that doesn't make any sense. That's 105 and 2. No, 1 rather. 1051. So the 1 is a planet number. The first 3 digits after that are the region code, so the number in the region. And then the rest are the actual address of the region. So that's 0, 3 in the upward direction that's narrower. Then E, B, zero, and then 0, 8. What's that one again? 4. Let's just double check that. So 1, 0, 5, 1, 0, 5, 1, 0, 3, E, B. Hang on, I might have got one wrong. 0, 3, 6. I've missed that 6 out. 6, E, B, 0, 084. Yeah, that's better. So I'll need to go to a Euclid portal and then come back here so we can search in this new region. Obviously, if you didn't have the battle imminent, then you could come to this region and then do the necessary warping around, playing for 3 hours thing. Where do I want to go? I want to go to my... Yeah, where's a portal? There's a portal, and that's in Islington. Not in Euclid. I didn't think there was an exotic there, but I'm not going to say I told you so much as I've got the advantage. I've got the advantage of a much bigger screen and no... Well, not necessarily a bigger screen than anybody else watching, but it's going to be high definition because the stream, the compression will take away some of the detail. So we're going to get back to that position. So I have to charge these. I don't think I've used this for a long, long while. My starship jumps 3.135 light years, and my cargo jumps, whoops, wrong one, 5.578. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, to be honest. I'll have a look. But yeah, I mean, you don't need a huge distance in order to get a really nice variety of ships to do this method for. And then if you can't find anything in the region you're in, then get in your freighter, jump further, and then do it again. So you don't have to have a really good jump range. Right, so 1, 0, 5, 1, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E is tree. B 0 is 8, wasn't it? Yeah. 80884. Shadow exotics. It'd be cool if they brought in a new kind of stealth type ship, but I think they kind of did that with the interceptors. Is that the one? Can anybody confirm that that was the same system? I'm going to call in my freighter here just as a place to have a save. So my hyperdrive range is 2,167 in this ship. I'm still trying. I think you might have missed what we're doing. What I was doing was working out where the destination of the black hole was from the same region as my starting location. And then I've gone to a portal to go to it, because unfortunately when I go through a black hole, it will force the battle and I won't be able to then warp to another place from there. I would have to, I'd only see that one battle from that point without reloading. So theoretically, I've now come to the correct spot, but I would need to double check that these glyphs are the same as the ones I just quickly jotted down earlier. 1 0 5 1 0 3 6 EB 0 0 8 4. So that's what I jotted down. I just wondered if anybody actually also jotted it down from the glyphs and can confirm they're the same as the ones I showed just before I came here. Right, so four planets, one moon, Gex system. Yes, I have jumped to Hilbert. Not in this save though. In my original save, I jumped all the way from the 1st to the 10th. I've never jumped any further than that in an individual save, like all the way through. But in that one, I jumped through the first 10, and I used that as a way of testing the variation systems in the same region of space in each galaxy. Prospecting, opulent, yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start from here. So we are now in the region of space. We're in the system that you would come to if you started where I started, i.e. where is it? Finding it in this thing might be hard. It's Hello Games. Not in that lot. It's not in that lot. It's Expedition 13. So it probably won't be that long ago. There it is. So I started off in this system, which was the beginning of Expedition 13. If you've got that in your list, then you can come here, theoretically. And it could be in your teleport list, for instance. And what I then did is I went to the black hole in the same region, and now we're in the system of that black hole destination, which will always be the same. It'll always bring you here. So now, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to follow along easily. So let's go to let's see if we can find the first 1-1. X12. I don't want to drift too far from our starting position here. Yeah, it's 1-3. I'm not finding an immediately close one, so I'm going to choose somewhere else. So let's go to let's go to 2-1. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm deleting anything that's not in English because I can't read it. And I owe it to YouTube to not allow messages I can't read. Sorry about that. That's not the right number. I can't even see. Oh no, it's because it's got. We're in the Yeah, but I don't have the luxury of being able to take the time to do the translation, so I have to err on the side of caution. So I've got nothing against the different languages, but please keep it to English. Okay, so that's probably not going to be the best place to go. Are we still in the same place? Yeah. You've been to the very edge of the yes, that's not wrong one. Hasn't come up on my selection yet. You've ever been to the very edge of the Euclidean galaxy? I really like that little spaceman star thing you've got going there. Yes, I've been to quite a few different places. If you look in my history, there's a decoding portals video, and that in that I showed how you could easily go to one of the edges, an exact spot that you wanted to go to. So for instance, what I did is I chose to go to the very bottom of the map, in the middle of the map at the bottom, and I showed how you could use the portal system and get an approximate kind of idea of where you're going to go without having to do any maths or any kind of too much thinking about it. And so I did go to that, for instance, in that one. Yeah, I've got a save that hangs out on the edge of the galaxy. Doesn't seem to be an awful lot of difference, though. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be like different variations in different parts of the galaxy. It's 2-2. Let's go there. I think I did reload my save, didn't I? Yeah. I got confused. This exactly the same. At probably exactly the same moment. Thinking, oh, that's the dreadnought. I'm not in the right place. Eight. That's not going to be good, but we'll just double check. Doesn't look like it, and it's gone to 10 now anyway, which seems to be even less likely. Well, there didn't seem to be a 1-1 immediately near this jump point. But one of the things about coming to a new region is it might juggle the stats. So let's see. What region are we in? We're in Yombek Shallows. So we can branch out a little bit and look for a 1-by-1 as long as we stay in Yombek Shallows, I think. That's a 1-1. Let's go there. Ah, that's a dreadnought. Getting a little bit of slight stutter. It's not knocking my frame rate, but it's very slightly stuttering on the dreadnought battles. It's interesting. The ships are running for the space station. Yeah, it's not going to be any good. We need to find a 1-1 that isn't a dreadnought battle for a start. I don't think I've known a dreadnought battle in a 1. I think they're quite unlikely. Because we usually advise to go to 3 combat level to find a dreadnought. My dreadnought is it's an S, but it's found in a pirate system. In this save it might be an A. I'll check in a bit. I think this one in this save it's an A. But if you want better stats, I swear blind that you need to look for them in non-pirate systems. It's 1, 2. It's 1, 2. Not finding many 1s in this particular region of space. 1, 3. It's not this region. One, 3. We're just on the edge of the other region here. They're just not finding a 1-1. I suppose I could filter by conflict. Yeah, good point. I'm looking at 3s, aren't I? I want to look at greens. 1. That's 1-1, isn't it? Oh no, that's data unavailable. It won't help. I can't remember. Abandoned systems. Do you get? We'll find out. I don't know why I'm asking. I can just go there and have a look. Yes, you do get them. Trouble is, there is no recognized conflict. So let's see. It's quite cool to be fighting over a gas giant. Reminiscent of Rutger Hauer's speech in Blade Runner. But no, we only seem to be 1 or 2 defenders here. Yeah, it's a very nice looking gas giant. They need to do something more with them, though. They need to put something on them that's interesting and worth going to. Apart from just fishing, of course. Go back to Ignition's point, and I will simply say you're applying logic, and Hello Games doesn't always apply logic. Some things they do are very illogical. So, but I mean, you got a point, and it's a valid thing to check. And I'm trying, I just can't find any. That's 1-1. Aha. Yeah, those kind of things are really cool. It's like one streamer I was watching, they set up a Rocket League for him, So you could use Exocraft. It's very kind of based around that theme with the same kind of building and with the boosts, and it was quite a convincing way to do it. Nope, we're not finding it here, but then it is a 10, so that's a 1/1 that has 10 pirates. Doesn't disprove that it might be weighted that way, but we're in a different region now, and that might have thrown it out a bit. Yeah, it's like you occasionally see people setting up some decent combat arenas. But the problem is the combat system is just so basic for player versus player. It doesn't feel totally rewarded, as it were. You don't feel as if you've got the best out of it. It doesn't mean the theory's wrong. It could be weighted. It could be weighted more towards one economy than the other. But it would take an awful lot of data gathering to decide whether that's true. And we'd also need to double check that on a different at a different time, when the freighter battle, like if I played another 3 hours and 5 warps, whether we would get the same battles, the same number of pirates in each system as we're getting now. So later on, I might test that. The next time, I might pop along and see if I get the same numbers, because it seems consistent between saves, but is it consistent in different stages of the game? Is that it? I think it is. No, it's not. That's an exotic. Not an exotic, an explorer. Such harsh lighting of this system, it's difficult to see. There it is. It's a grey one again. Don't think I can get above it, so I have to go down, put the light down here, I think. So that's a high dorsal fin. I can't get close enough to really look at it. Let's see if we get a bit closer. Find it again now. Oh, it's closer than that. So it got away from me. These defences can be so maneuverable sometimes. It's difficult to get the photo. Here it comes. Is that it though? No, that's not it. God, the lighting is very different on this system. It just seems like a darker system. There it is. So it's got a short, thin tail, which you can only just see there. It's grey. It's got no nose. It's got that slight honeycomb decal at the top, which is not really a decal. I'd like to look at the other side, but I can't quite reach it. So let's see if we can... I think they're symmetrical on each side, but... Let's get out. Turn around with a bit of backwards momentum. Is that it? Didn't hit the 0 in time. Got 0 as my hotkey for this. It's got my controller right next to my hotkey. It's a game in and of itself trying to get a decent photograph. Nah, it just turned away. Just as I was about to take the photo. Missed it. That wasn't it. Combination of the maneuverability and the harsh lighting in this system. It's made it harder to take the photo of this one than any other one we've done. That should be close enough. It's not quite close enough. There's no decals on that side. There's none on that side. So it's grey and silver, another V-wing, tiny little stub of a tail, no nose, no dorsal fin at all. I think they're the least balanced ships, in my opinion. They're all kind of downwards. But if you like the look of it, then the glyphs are more than our fair share of grey ones. Let's just go anywhere. Staying in the region, though. Let's try another abandoned, see what happens. Very close to the space station. Promising on the number. Let's see if abandoned makes any difference. Five pirates, hasn't changed to 6, which I'm not sure if it matters or not. Not seeing as many defenders. Well, there are a few. There's a red one. I'm beginning to think that there might be kind of a bit of a pattern of the type you're likely to find in each region, because there's another very, very similar ship to the last one, only without any decals, no nose, doesn't have a tail this time, but very similar. Except in a different colour. And if you like that one, the glyphs are here. To get a reasonably good hit rate. And it's changed to 6 again, so that doesn't seem to matter if it goes from 5 to 6 at some point. So let's drift across to the next region, see if that makes any difference to the kind of thing we're finding. Because in the last region, we weren't really sticking to the region as much. Let's go up. Yeah, I don't think we've found one in a non-5 or 6. And all of the 6 have started off as 5. So Goz Hin Arrow Shadows. I did get one royal quite early on with side thrusters. But I can't be sure if it was in the same region because I wasn't paying attention to the region to start with. So we're on 5, so it should be lucky. But I think we had one 5 that turned into a 6 that we didn't see any exotic in. So it's not been 100% hit rate, but it's almost been. Is that a squid? Or is that an... Can't quite see it. No, I've lost. No, it's not a squid. It's an orange. There we are. No, that's not it. There, yes, it is. Yes, it is. thought a different ship was the exotic for a little while. Side thrusters. Always prefer to see side thrusters. It's high dorsal fin with the, I don't know, what do we call that decal? That kind of, it's got a 7 on it. It's got a nose. I can't quite see the nose from here. Well, it's not a nose. It's got the mosquito spike. It's got a small tail. Can't quite get a good bead on the picture, so let's try and get a better picture. She is there. I missed it. Lost it now. There it is. Not close enough there. Controls are completely askew here. Let's try and get the sun there somewhere. Okay. It's a bit better. Slightly better angle. There you go. It's actually not a bad ship. Not my favourite layout, but geometric plate. Okay. What I need to do is find a way to put a hotkey onto my controller, but unfortunately that's not going to work, I don't think. Yeah, I don't mind these. They're not my favourite, but they're not bad. I feel like they're better balanced than the ones about the side thrusters. It does, and it doesn't have a small tail like I thought. It has that spike at the back on the dorsal fin, which I think is standard to the dorsal fin, is it? Oh no, it does have a small tail. You can just see it there. Must have been being obscured by the Starship trail. And the glyphs are this one. Yeah, I would say of all the ones we found so far, that's my favourite. So I wonder if we go to the same region of space, which of course I can't remember now, whether we will see the same thing, same type, or similar type. It was this one, wasn't it? Gozhianu. Let's try 2-2. This is also 5. We're getting a nice run of 5s here. Maybe that's also a region-specific thing. I did wonder if it might be related to the seed. And if it's related to the seed, it would be swayed by the region, I think. Let's see the exotic, though. Well, there it is. There it is. Yellow. It's got quite a low profile, so I've lost track of it. There it is. There. It's chasing a pirate that's spinning around me. Yeah, it's definitely a royal, this one. But of course the last one was basically a royal with the higher dorsal fin, so I know people don't often call the taller ones, but they're the same. There it was. They're the same kind of ship, just with different dorsal fins heights. So I would count this as similar. If I can just get it in a picture. Is that it? Yes. Where is it? It felt close, but I might have missed it. Is that it? Never going to get close enough there, though. Yes, this is a nice one. Again, not my favorite color, but definitely my favorite type. Ah, you just turned away. Sometimes they take the shot and then move away from their target. Ah, now I'm getting hurt. Get it this time. We can spot it. There it is. be slightly too far away. We should be able to see the deck elves. So it's got the loops on top and a 7. And it's got the full royal nose, side thrusters, dual thruster. Looks yellow and gold. Always curses it to try and get a closer shot, but if only the pirates was difficult to shoot as exotics were to photograph, this game would be more challenging. Oh, I think it just flew out. Oh, there it is. That's better. I'd like to get a closer shot because I'm not sure how familiar people are with these. And there's Gravnor and myself kind of just shouting out terms, different terms, because we've got different ways of naming them, but other people might not know what we're talking about. So yeah, it's yellow and gold. It's got the 7, it's got the loops. That's what I would call a side thruster royal. It's a nice ship, actually. And the glyphs for this one. Oh, there. I don't know if I did fly through a try. No, I'm not going to try shooting it. So actually, let's just move that slightly so we can see the glyphs a bit more clearly. So there's the glyphs for that one. Probably my second favourite I've seen today. I feel like this particular region might be a good one to keep going in because we found a couple of nice ones on the bounce there. This one with the size of the flotilla surrounding it, I'd be thinking, oh, this could be S-class. We'll search for a new freighter another time. There she is. She even made it easy for me to take a photograph. Orange. So orange and gold. V-wing, small tail. Not too small, those. Single thruster with the hoops. And the glyphs of that one are there. Move that off of the... That's better. I think it's just we've found a lot of V-wings. That's just, we're trying to call out what we're seeing, basically. I like the this, for instance, because we've got a what I often call a tri-wing, or some people call a bi-wing. If we watch it from third party view, then the landing animation's really nice on these, I always think. Whereas the landing animation on a Royal is very basic because it's just the side thrusters, but I don't mind that. Sometimes the side thrusters will get stuck in the pointing downwards position, which is frustrating. They sometimes try and fix that, but I don't think they've ever consistently fixed it. So yeah, they're slightly more boring in their animation, but how long are we going? 2 hours 30 minutes. It's probably nearly time for me to finish. Let's do a couple more. Let's try a different region entirely. You never know, we might get a squid if we go for a different region. Sometimes when you warp with them, they change out of their stuck in the down position. That's 8, so that's unlikely. Not even seeing a defender on this one. Let's switch to 10. It's just very unlikely to come across a squid. They're just not that common. Do you have anything against the Gek? Go to an abandoned. It's very unlikely there, so we'll start doing our quicker reload. Unfortunately, I've got to keep. I'm gonna spawn right next to my royal again, so I should jump in and jump out of the ship so that I don't keep respawning next to that, and instead next to this ship. Which is the NPC that you get the impression might still be part of the that's kind of the underground dodgy Gek? Is it the farmer or is it the overseer? Overseer. The overseer is very suspicious of the farmer, though, isn't he, as well? And then he decides to be quiet about it. Just going to different regions just for a bit of variety, but is it the farmer suspicious of the overseer? Maybe you're right. It's a while since I've done those. Nowadays I tend to just rush through them without really reading them if I'm in a save that I want to get everything out of my list. We're on 8 again. I'm just gonna try and do quick rotation for a few until we find another one, rather than looking at the 8s and the 10s. Yeah, I do tend to do them every save, but I don't always pay attention to what they're saying in every save. Let's go down. Sometimes I just try and speed run the base missions. Oh. I really like the stories. I do try and do if I ever do the Artemis quest again, I do tend to take my time and read it through again because I do enjoy that. And you can always read it with different eyes and see different things in it. But I think the Overseer quest I just did too often. And there's not that much going on in it. There's a little bit of colour, but So we're in a 5, so we should be lucky. And there it is. Getting quicker at spotting them, I think. It's red. Obviously, it's a side thruster, a royal. Might be slightly too far away to get a decent picture. Yeah, I think it is slightly too far away. They just split just as I was about to look down. Come on, it'll turn around now. Ah, missed the turn. It's better. Clamshell. Haven't got the ideal lighting on that one. Don't think we're going to get it. I think I must be causing a shadow or something. It's a hard shadow across it. See if we can get the other side. So loops and a 7, very similar to the other. Fin, red and silver. Nice clamshell engine, if we can get back to, there we go. Quite a nice ship, actually. Yeah, nice. Yeah, they do have a nice symmetry. I agree. Ignition. So the gliss for this one. A nice sort of laser beam on the last glyph there. Let's do one more. I mean, in general, I like, there's 2 ships type I like. I like this type, the Royals, and I like the tri-wing or V-wing with the long dorsal fin, depending on what we want to call it. If it was blue and silver, I would go for it. Right, as this will be the last one I search for, we'll actually do the claiming of whatever we find this time, just to demonstrate again. I did demonstrate it. Oh, we've got a nice line there. I did demonstrate it before at the beginning of the stream. See that nice vertical formation of stars there? It's really nice. It's 1-on-1. Let's go there. Well, I might do another stream in order to look for a squid, because we haven't found a squid, but that could take a long while. That's an 8. just immediately give up on that one. Where was that nice vertical? It was down, wasn't it? Is that it? No. Not sure where it was now. Doesn't matter. Right, let's this is very close to the space station. And there's also a large flotilla. As I said, I have this working theory that larger flotillas are more likely to be S-class. I haven't done a test of that. Maybe we'll do a test of that at another stream. There it is. I went right past it. I think it's another grey one. But more than my fair share of grey ones. There. Oh, it's got the nice honeycomb. Now, I've never been 100% sure if there are different colours of grey and white, but that does look quite light. But that could be the lighting in this system. But it's got grey and gold. Not quite a mosquito. It's got two little bits of the nose. Nice clamshell at the back. That's very nicely weighted ship. So we're going to claim this one. And the way we're going to claim it is by fighting off the pirates. I realise what it is. I'm not in first person view. I prefer first person view when I'm fighting. Where's he gone? Yeah, I don't think there are any pure white ones, but I've never been 100% sure because I've only ever Only ones I've ever had have been that kind of grey colour, and that doesn't prove anything. This is a nice looking pirate. Come on out of there. All these pirates are quite nice. Can't remember off the top of my head. I think there are 5 pirate models in a system. But they check their names will swap around. They've got 5 names and 5 pirates, if I'm right on the number. 5 models and 5. Right, so we need to get the... That's targeted, so we can go left and right on the controller. I don't know what you do on the keyboard. I've never really played this game with the keyboard. It's not that, it's not that. It's not that. Anyway, he seems to be going straight to the space station. Sometimes it takes longer than that. Yeah, squids definitely have there's greys and whites and colours in between. There's more variation with squids. Right, I'm going to swap my other exotic for this one because I like this one a little bit better. What am I doing? There we have it. We've claimed it. 'Tis ours. What I haven't done is given the glyphs for this one. Get a nicer photograph though first. I always quite like the honeycomb decal. And these are the glyphs. Let's move that so it's this bit. So whether you can trigger the battle here is the tricky part. Use these glyphs, or theoretically you could use neighboring glyphs, but you wouldn't necessarily be in the very next system. For instance, if you changed the very last glyph from the moon symbol to the Diplo symbol, it should be quite close, but it might not be that close, so you might find it difficult to find the system. But if you tried that method, then the name is Lolvaxium, and it's a power Korvax system. But if you wanted to just warp to this system using the glyphs, then what I would advise you do, the simplest way to avoid sparking off the battle. See, there's my old ship that I just exchanged that's now owned by the other guy. The other thing, I'm just getting distracted a second. The other thing you could theoretically do is recruit into your squadron now that you've swapped it. So I could then keep swapping and getting a number of consistent ships that look similar but not identical. If you try and do the same thing twice in the same system, it can get a bit tricky. It doesn't work very easily. But I could recruit that to the squadron now, if I so wanted, but I don't want a squadron. They're a bit of a pain. Where was I? I was in the middle of a thing then, and I just thought of that. Yeah, if you were coming to this system, you would end up on a planet. What I would recommend doing would be to, if you've got a freighter, jump in that, warp from this system to a neighboring system, and then warp back in your ship at the point where you've got the battle spawning. So every single time I've walked in this particular stream, I already had the battle spawning. So I waited until I got 3 hours and 5 warps and running around on a planet for a bit, which seems to be an inconsistent, but something that triggers it. If you find that you've waited for 3 hours and you still, oh look, it's landed here again. So easily distracted towards the end of a stream. That's my old ship coming in and out. So every single time I have walked in this stream, it was because I'd already got to that point where I've done the 3 hours, I've done 5 warps, I've run around my planet for a bit, and every time I warp, I'm going to get the battle, but I have to reload each time, because if I was to then warp again from that system, I would lose the battle. You would still get the battle if you walk back to that first system, but you wouldn't get a second system if you, say, jumped out of your ship. You'd have to wait another 3 hours. So the best thing to do is wait until it triggers, reload back to before it triggered, before the warp. So always save before the warp. When it triggers, reload back again so it's not warped, go to a portal, come to this address, if so for instance you wanted this particular one, jump in your freighter and warp to a different system, neighboring system, and then warp back in your ship and see if there's 5 defenders. If there isn't 5 defenders, currently I think the only way you could probably make it happen again is to go for another 3-hour system. I think that does change it, but I need to test that. So maybe we'll test that another time. But if you don't have a freighter, then the best thing to do is to warp to either a black hole system or an Atlas station system. So on the map, if I was here, then I could warp to, say, this black hole. That wouldn't give me a freighter battle, and then I could warp back to here and I would then get the battle. Obviously I would save in the system with the black hole. It looks like there's a very close neighboring Atlas station, so that'd be even easier in this case. If this, for this particular one, I would warp to here, save, and then start warping to the systems I wanted. Was this the one I was suspicious was a 5? I think it was the previous one, wasn't it? I can't see it because I've got some half invisible text of the thing on my screen. Oh, it's a B. I can just see it. My I've now started to use the kind of half invisible text of the live chats. on my screen, which is why I'm a little bit more responsive to what's going on in the chat. It's right on my screen. Anyway, so I can't save there. I want to save back at the space station. I keep thinking I'm in my own freighter. Save before I finish the stream, because I very often will just immediately walk away from my computer after a stream. So let's make sure I save at the space station. And then I'll say goodbye. So I've been Pharaoh. Travel well, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again some other time.